Differential characteristic window. As mentioned before, one of the main windows of differential room is differential characteristic. This window shows that relay differential characteristic curve based on the setting entered in test object window. The top of the characteristic curve is called tripping area, while the bottom is called no trip area. This means that if the test point is located at the top of the curve, the relay gives a trip, otherwise it does not. This window has some shared and some unique features. The features available by right or left clicking on this window are common to all rooms, and it's not necessary to explain them here, but at the bottom of this window there is a gear by clicking on which some other useful options are displayed. By clicking on Zoom during test, if one or multiple search lines are drawn on the characteristic curve, by running the test you can see that the software zooms on the areas where the test points are located and shows the found zone line. If you select Optimize All option, by changing the fold type, the characteristic curve display is optimized. By using Pan mode, you can move the characteristic curve diagram as desired. By using Show Row Number, you can view the row number of any test point or test line on the characteristic curve. By selecting Show All Zone, test zones of all search points are marked with a circle to find the characteristic curve line. By selecting Show Selected Zone only, the points of the line selected from the search line table are marked with a circle. By clicking on Show All T-Act Point, the opening time of the test point is shown. Since maybe the points are close to each other and it's not possible to view the time clearly, you can use Show Selected T-Act Point option, which shows the time of the row selected from the test point table. Show All ID and IB Act and Show Selected T-Act Point options are used to show all tested search test points and the points related to the row selected from the search test table respectively. By selecting the Snap to Grid option, the points on the characteristic curve that are shot close to the grids snap to the grids of this page. By selecting the Snap to Characteristic Curve option, the points on the characteristic curve that are shot close to the characteristic curve grid snap to it. Show Other Point option. By selecting this option in single-phase faults such as L1E, in addition to the shot points, another point is displayed on the differential characteristic window in the form of a delta, which in fact is the indicator of differential and bias currents of the two other phases. This option is used in cases where the single-phase fault characteristic curve is different from the phase-to-phase fault. The reason for this difference is that in some area the relay does not perform a trip because of the differential and bias current of the phase being tested, but because of the differential and bias currents of the two other phases. This means that if you have brought a general trip to the device to test single-phase faults such as L1E and checked No Combined Characteristic option, in some of the area close to the characteristic curve, the relay performs a trip for the L1E fault, but this trip is not the trip of the L1 phase, but it is related to current of the two other phases, which can be also observed by using the characteristic of delta point on the curve. If in same condition the No Combined Characteristic option is unchecked, you can see that this point is located at the tripping zone.